From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Conway. This is your News 8 Daily 8 for Wednesday, October 4th. We are going to squeeze in one last day of summer. The winds are going to pick up a bit, and we're going to get back into the mid-80s today. Then that cloud cover is going to gradually increase throughout the day with the next chance for rain. And by tonight, a few showers are possible, and it is going to be the beginning of a big pattern change and cool down for the days to come.
Office of Speaker of the House of the United States House of Representatives is hereby declared vacant.
A historic vote leaves the gavel up for grabs. Congress voted House Speaker Kevin McCarthy out for the first time in U.S. history. Hard-right conservatives forced the 216 to 210 vote, which throws the House and its GOP leadership into chaos. Last night, McCarthy told lawmakers he does not plan to run again for Speaker. He adds he wouldn't change anything about his tenure as the House leader.
I do not regret negotiating. Our government is designed to find compromise. I don't regret my efforts to build coalitions and find solutions. I was raised to solve problems, not create them. So I may have lost a vote today, but as I walk out of this chamber, I feel fortunate to have served the American people.
Representative Patrick McHenry from North Carolina is the Speaker pro tem until a new Speaker is chosen. There's no obvious successor to lead the Republican Party, and no word yet when representatives may meet again to vote. Classes are canceled at Morgan State University in Baltimore after a mass shooting wounded 5 people. Police say they heard gunshots. There was also a cracked window from where police believe the gunman was shooting. Police haven't announced any arrests or potential suspect information. The shooting interrupted a homecoming week celebration and prompted an hours-long lockdown as police went room to room looking for suspects. Students say they were waiting for the coronation of Mr. and Miss Morgan State to start when they saw people running. Investigators say the victims are between 18 and 22 years old, and none of the injuries is said to be life-threatening. Indianapolis police say a man is dead in the second fatal shooting in recent days at the same Eastside apartment complex. Officers found the victim inside a van last night at the Amber Woods Apartments near 38th and Mithofer. Medics took the man to the hospital where he died. IMPD says it is aware of another shooting at the apartments on Sunday. Police say they're investigating it as a possible self-defense. Authorities say that 3 juveniles are responsible for setting a fire on the roof of a local elementary school. The Clay County Sheriff's Office says it received a report of a fire alarm going off at Meridian Elementary School in Brazil around 4 Sunday morning. The Sheriff's Office says police officers arrived to a fire on the school's roof. Authorities say firefighters were able to put out the flames, but the damage was significant. Police say water, fire, and smoke damaged the roof in certain common areas, including the library. They say the suspects have not been arrested. And to IT Mate and the defense team in the Delphi murders case, Richard Allen's attorneys claim police reopened the investigation into claims the girls were killed in a ritualistic sacrifice. News 8's Drew Blair breaks down what they now want the judge to do.
In the new court filings on Monday, Richard Allen's attorneys argue the state is reinvestigating claims that the February 2017 Delphi murders were connected to Odinism, a Norse religion connected to paganism. Allen's attorneys originally laid out that claim in a 136-page memo last month, describing in gruesome detail the crime scene, how Abby Williams and Libby German died, and how their bodies had been staged. Monday's filing alleges that after initially ignoring the theory, authorities have reopened the investigation into the Odinism aspects of the case. They specifically point to new police interviews in August of this year with at least 2 people who the defense considers potential suspects. Prosecutors have flatly rejected the Odinism angle in court documents, calling it colorful, dramatic, highly unprofessional, and designed for social media. The defense also claims some evidence is missing, including audio and video recordings of interviews and a police report with a woman who told investigators within 1 month of the killings that her brother had confessed. Allen's attorneys want the judge to end what they call the prosecution's continual drip, drip, drip of evidence discovery and force the state to hand over all evidence in the case by November 1st.
That was Drew Blair reporting. The trial in this case is scheduled to start in January, but it appears unlikely that that's going to happen. We're also waiting on the judge to rule on a series of requests, including allowing cameras in court and suppressing evidence found at Allen's home. Sticking with IT Mate, new data shows a dramatic spike in the number of ransomware attacks across the globe. According to GuidePoint Security, nearly 2,900 people have reported attacks so far this year. That's a 65% increase in the number of reports compared to this time last year. It says 49% of all publicly posted victims are in the United States. Drew Schmidt is a cybersecurity expert with GuidePoint. He gave IT Mate a behind-the-scenes look at how ransomware attacks happen. Schmidt says once a hacker gains access to a company, they typically make copies of the data and encrypt it. He says they then send the company a message to start the extortion process. IT Mate asked Schmidt if the attacks can be stopped.
At this point and just say, hey, it's a fact of life, because I don't think it needs to be that way. It's a difficult problem. It's a complex problem. But I think that, again, if we focus on the foundations and fundamentals of cybersecurity, we start sharing information at a larger scale, and we really focus on improving processes and technologies, I think we can really, mitigate a lot of the risks that we see.
GuidePoint says the most impacted industries are manufacturing, technology, banking and finance, education, and healthcare. In Your Vote 2023, Republican candidate for Indianapolis Mayor Jefferson Shreve says the city isn't doing enough for abandoned dogs and cats. Shreve revealed his plan for Indianapolis animal care and services yesterday. He claims Mayor Hogsett has not paid attention to the shelter's needs. IACS says it usually cares for some 150 to 200 animals at any time. News 8 reported earlier this year some animals were sleeping in kennels and hallways due to overcrowding. Shreve says he would push to build a new shelter quickly or find another site. Shreve also wants to hire more veterinarians, raise staff salaries, and turn IACS into a no-kill shelter. Hogsett's office says the adoption and rescue rate has increased since he took office. The city says 88% of sheltered animals now find new homes. And Wish TV will host a live one-hour debate with Joe Hogsett and Jefferson Shreve. We want to know what questions you want asked. Just go to wishtv.com. You can find a link to this story and a way to register those questions. Just send them in. You can also email the questions to us at askthecandidates@wishtv.com. The debate will be Monday, October 23rd, exclusively on Wish TV. The Indiana Secretary of State is reminding voters of the registration deadline coming up Monday. Voters must be U.S. citizens at least 18 years old on or before Election Day to register. They also need a valid Indiana driver's license or identification card. Now go to wishtv.com, look in the As Seen On section of our website for a direct link to register. Indiana is recognizing a grim piece of its past with a new historical marker in Indianapolis. It's placed where formerly enslaved man John Tucker was beaten to death. The marker sits near Illinois and Washington Streets. That's where the lynching happened in 1845 on the 4th of July. State Representative Greg Porter says he hopes it helps people understand an important part of the state's history.
Continue to educate this community and young people about the experiences of people of color here in the city of Indianapolis and throughout the state.
It's not clear how Tucker gained his freedom. Historians say an estimated 29 lynchings happened across Indiana. Business owners in Irvington say they're concerned about Indigo's Blue Line project. The 24-mile bus line is set to go through Washington Street and the heart of historic Irvington to link Cumberland to the Indianapolis International Airport. Several business leaders tell News 8 they worry the bus line could affect the historic neighborhood and prevent drivers from stopping by their shops.
People who want to get here via vehicle aren't going to be able to do that with the bus coming in, so we're definitely not excited about that.
Indigo shared a statement with News 8 saying the long-term benefits of the Blue Line will far outweigh any temporary angst. It cites faster, more efficient transit and significant infrastructure improvements. A local drive-in is hoping for a big economic boost by showing Taylor Swift's concert film. Tibbs Drive-In Theater says it's already sold 900 tickets for opening weekend. Tibbs will show the movie on the back 3 screens next Friday and Saturday night. Marcella Snyder owns the drive-in. She says the theater has big plans, including friendship bracelets and Taylor-themed snacks.
We're going to do tailgating on the first 2 nights, so everyone is more than welcome to be outside of their cars, singing loudly, dancing.
Snyder says all friendship bracelet sales will be donated to Girls Rock Indy. The gates open for tailgating at 5:30 p.m. with the show starting at 7:30. Heartland International Film Festival begins tomorrow in Indianapolis. The 11-day fest hosts screenings at 5 theaters across the Indy area. The Can Cinema and Restaurant in Indianapolis is the epicenter of the 32nd year of the fest. It was named one of the top 25 awesome film festivals in 2023 by Movie Maker magazine. The theme is You Can't Look Away. They're showing over 120 movies from all around the world. You can see big, exciting movies, special Indiana ones, brand new ones, and even talk to the movie makers after some of them. And the rivalry is back on. In a few seasons, IU will play Kentucky in the regular season basketball for the first time since 2011. That's when IU's Christian Watford hit the famous Watt shot to beat the Wildcats. The long-awaited return of the series starts on December 20th, 2025 at Kentucky. Kentucky then heads north to take on the Hoosiers at Lucas Oil Stadium in 2026. You can find a full list of the matchups on our website, wishtv.com. And Pacers training camp is officially underway. It started yesterday. Before reporting to camp, the Pacers took a team bonding trip to Nashville. The team says it was to spend time together off the court and focus on building chemistry. Head coach Rick Carlisle talked to our Sports 8 team about the highlights of the trip.
It's a bachelorette party capital of the world, for one thing. At least 2 of the 3 days, a group of guys went back at night and did a second session, So I'm very impressed, Some guys drove there, some guys flew there, but when they got there, they were together, and they were doing things with a purpose.
Nashville, Tennessee, of course, we're talking. The Pacers preseason begins in Memphis October 8th. NASA has picked our city, Indianapolis, as one of only 3 places to partner with for a once-in-a-lifetime moment. In just about 6 months, there will be a total solar eclipse in Indianapolis, and Visit Indy has big plans across the city for the entire week. NASA says it's been more than 800 years since a total eclipse happened here in Indianapolis. On April 8th at 3:06 in the afternoon, the city will be in the center of the path of totality, and the seats at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway will be out of this world. Hannah Mordeau reports.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is known for the bricks, the cars, and of course, the greatest spectacle in racing. But now,
a NASA-approved location where folks can come in, they can camp, they can hang out, and watch the total eclipse.
Start your engines for something out of this world. NASA is racing to the Speedway as an official observation location.
On April 8th, but that's when the sun and the moon and the earth all align, and it's going to happen right here. So it's once in a lifetime. Won't happen again for another 129 years. So we're excited to have people come here.
For just $15, people can have the race day, space day experience. Kids under 18 get in for free, or you can camp in Lot 2 for $125 and see NASA's live broadcasts, special exhibits, and of course, the IndyCar staples.
So from kissing the bricks here in Pagoda Plaza to here at the viewing mound at Turn 2.
We're down here on the track.
But especially here in the stands, there's no bad seat for this greatest spectacle of a lifetime.
Yeah, so for the first time in 800 years, there will be a total eclipse that comes right across Indianapolis.
Super duper bright.
In fact, back in 2017, there was a partial eclipse in Indiana, and now the stars aligned for this.
Talk about the number of people who drove for hours and hours and hours to be part of that total eclipse, and that's going to happen right here. So we're expecting thousands of people to show up here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to look up in the sky and watch the sun disappear for a little while, 3 minutes and 46 seconds, and enjoy that here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So I anticipate we'll have astronauts here, we'll have some other things, opportunities for fans to really interact.
So IMS President Doug Bowles, the self-proclaimed NASA geek, showed me firsthand some of the eclipse tips at the track.
So these are going to be the best seats in the house?
Absolutely. So you have the seats right here, and it's morning as you noted here, but by the time the eclipse is going to happen right up over, kind of right in front of us between the top of the grandstand roof there and our pylon. So it's going to be a beautiful view from these seats.
You guys are going to have something special for people out here?
So we're going to have similar glasses called the Greatest Spectacles. The greatest spectacle in racing. We're just going to stop it at Greatest Spectacle. So part of your $15 admission when you come in, you get a pair of those glasses. If you bring 18 and under that are free, they get the glasses too to make sure that everybody's safe when they look up. So it's really new, and I think that's what's going to be so exciting for people, and I think that's why so many people are going to converge on the city of Indianapolis. You hope 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, those kids say, I remember the first time I went to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to watch the total eclipse, and hopefully they become lifelong fans.
Lifelong fans won with a total eclipse at the track.
Again, that was Hannah Mordeau reporting. Doug Bowles told Hannah that there will be around 25,000 actual seats in the stands open for the eclipse. But of course, even more people can come out there and camp or go to the infield to see it. NASA says a total eclipse will not happen again in Indianapolis for 129 years. A limited gag order is now in effect in former President Donald Trump's civil business fraud trial in New York. A state judge imposed the order yesterday after Trump disparaged a key court staffer on social media. The judge also ordered Trump to delete the post, which he later did. The former president says he plans to return to the courtroom today for day 3, although he's not required to be there now. He is slated to testify later in the trial. Hunter Biden is pleading not guilty to 3 federal firearms charges. The president's son entered his plea yesterday at a courthouse in Delaware. Biden is accused of lying about his drug use in 2018 on a form to buy a gun. He could face up to 25 years in prison if convicted. The plea sets the case on track toward a possible trial in 2024 while President Biden is running for re-election. The White House is taking aim at the threat of fentanyl trafficking. U.S. officials announced a series of indictments and sanctions against Chinese companies and executives yesterday. The businesses are accused of importing the chemicals used to make the deadly drug. 8 Chinese companies are charged in the indictments. Senior administration officials are slated to visit Mexico today for meetings about the drug threat there. Neighbors in fire-stricken Lahaina are asking Hawaii's governor to delay his plans to reopen a portion of West Maui to tourism this weekend. More than 3,500 people from West Maui signed the petition and delivered it to Governor Josh Green yesterday. Many say they are still grieving and are not ready. Others say they need travelers to come back so they can earn a living in hotels and restaurants. At least 98 people died in the August wildfire. And today, the man charged with murder in the deadly shooting of rapper Tupac Shakur is set to make his first court appearance. Dwayne Keefe D. Davis is expected to have a lawyer with him as he appears before a Nevada judge. Davis was indicted last week. Prosecutors say he orchestrated the drive-by killing of the hip-hop legend in 1996 and provided his nephew with the gun to do it. Davis has publicly described his role in the killing for several years. The parents of a convicted school shooter in Michigan are set to stand trial on involuntary manslaughter charges. The state Supreme Court turned down an appeal from James and Jennifer Crumbley yesterday. The couple's accused of making a gun available to their son, Ethan Crumbley, and ignoring his mental health needs. Ethan is convicted of killing 4 fellow students and injuring 7 others at Oxford High School in November of 2021. A judge last week ruled he's eligible for life in prison without parole. And happening today, anyone with a cell phone or watching TV will see a message, "This is a test," flash across the screen. It's a test of the federal government's emergency alert system. It's designed to allow the president to speak to the American people within 10 minutes during a national emergency. The test is set to start at 2:20 this afternoon. And to business headlines, there were an estimated 9.61 million open jobs in August, according to the JOLTS survey. Some of the biggest increases in postings were in professional and business services, finance. 63% of U.S. workers plan to ask for a raise by year-end, citing economic uncertainty and heavy workloads as the top factors for asking for a raise. That's according to the Robert Half 2024 salary guide. The company's Brandy Britton says for American workers, salary is top of mind. That's due to inflation.
We're all feeling it. It's what's driving workers to ask for a raise, but it's a two-way street in that it's also impacting employers just as much.
Britton also says for companies that can't match salaries, some are offering hybrid remote office work. Netflix plans to raise the price of its ad-free service a few months after the continuing Hollywood actors strike ends, according to the Wall Street Journal. The report did not say how much Netflix will raise prices by or when exactly the new prices will take effect. Netflix declined to comment. Over the past year or so, the cost of major ad-free streaming services has gone up by about 25%. Indianapolis has some of the cheapest beer and wine in the country, at least according to a new Wallet Hub survey. It says Indianapolis has the 5th cheapest in the nation. 3 of the top 5 cheapest were in Texas. In terms of a foodie city, Indianapolis ranked 43rd, with Orlando at the top. This has been your News 8 Daily 8. For Wish TV, I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast with Wish TV's Kylie Conway. A Wish TV News 8 update on demand for even more on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.